Hello everyone, this is Gage from Gondor Smith, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another custom scenario. Now this one was actually created and sent to me by Lengo, who I believe has most of his forces back here. Yeah, you can see some of his troops right there. But anyway, this is on the Temple of Melkor map. I don't actually know this map well enough to know if he changed a whole bunch of things about it, but you know, just everything else that what goes along with the custom scenario is what he did. In fact, you can see that the balance of power here is very, very even, and I can tell you that this battle throughout the whole time is incredibly close. I'm obviously not going to tell you who wins, but the winner only had 4% of the remaining 3 attacking armies, because this is a 3 versus 3. It's between Mordor and Gondor. Mordor is of course defending this grand temple of the Dark Lord, and the Gondorians are going to come and try to destroy it and rid Mordor of this evil. But anyway, I should actually mention that, well, obviously this is a very long one, but there's something about that. Lengo told me that between like 30k and 50k frames, people were AFK, but don't worry about that. I'll definitely cut that part out. But anyway, I should mention, this is actually probably going to be one of, if not the final .91 battle replay that I actually do, and this is definitely a good one to do for the last one. It's going to give .91 for my channel in a way, a proper send-off, I feel, because like I said, this is a very close one, full of some really nice artillery hits, and of course it's just a classic good versus evil battle between two of the oldest enemies, that being of course Mordor and Gondor. But without any further ado, we will go ahead and start off into the army compositions. I'm not going to go too great into detail with the Mordor or Gondor army compositions. They're pretty similar, with the exception that one of each of these armies is substantially more elite than the other. The elite Mordor army is being commanded by Lengo. He's got a couple units of Numenorean Shadow Guard. He's got 3 units of Numenorean Shield Guard, a couple units of Sauron's Will, a couple units of standard Uruk Halberds, as well as 1 unit of Mordor Mornon Halberds, which is just the better variant of these Uruk Halberds. You can see he's got a long line of Uruks here. He's also got some Uruk Bodyguard maybe around here. Back here he's also got some 1 unit of the Troll Catapult. There's his other Sauron's Will. Over here, his general's unit is that of the Temple Guard, which is of course a AP archer unit, so it can do a lot of damage both from range and in melee, because they do pull out some pretty awesome two-handed swords. They've also got multiple hit points and some really nice attack and defense values. All around, I think he's got some other troops kind of spread out. Over here he's got his Numenorean Shield Guard, and of course some Temple Inquisitors. These guys are incredibly deadly. I think they have like 50-something attack, 47-ish defense with multiple hit points. Chanting that can inspire troops. These guys just can shred through pretty much everything. So they're of course going to be very key for this battle. And of course he's also got some lesser Balrogs as well. And I think I already mentioned that he does have a Troll Catapult. And that Troll Catapult, man, that thing does have some excellent hits. And then over here is where the rest of his army is. He's got some like 3 units of Orc Maulers, maybe 2 units of Orc Maulers, and some Uruk Archers as well. I actually think I may turn up the brightness a bit. It does seem slightly dark. Anyway, so yeah, he does have some Orc Maulers here. You can see, or no, Uruk Archers, sorry, as well as some Orc Maulers. But the only rules I think that he had mentioned was the fact that the attackers were not allowed to come through this way, this back area, until they had taken the entire inner portion of the temple, which is of course over here. But anyway, the remaining 2 defenders, oh, I did not mean to start that. The remaining 2 defenders are Grimgor, Ironhide, and TF Alisson. Well, they're both from the TF clan, but anyway, Alisson's got some troops mainly over there. But anyway, Grimgor, he has got 1 ballista, he's got some Mornon heavy maulers, he's got some Uruks, Uruk Halberds, Uruk Archers, just again pretty similar army. He's got, I think all 3 of the Mordor armies have Temple Inquisitors, but there's only 1 unit of Temple Guard. He's got Uruk Halberds here. He's got actually some cavalry in the form of the mounted Temple Inquisitors. Got some more Orc Maulers and some Orc Raiders as well, so some pretty cheap stuff as in addition to his army. Over here you can see, I believe it's more of, yeah, no, this is Alisson's stuff. So he's got some Orc Archers, low tier Archers, Uruk Halberds, Uruks, Mountain Trolls. Over here he's got some more Uruks and Uruk Archers. There's Alisson's Temple Inquisitors. And over here we can see the rest of his army as well. He's got some Numenorean Shadow Guard, some Uruk Bodyguard, some more Numenorean Shadow Guard, and then way down here he's got the rest of his stuff as well. He's got some more Uruks, so a lot of Uruks obviously, a lot of Uruk Halberds as well, some Orc Archers, and down here he's got some cheap units defending this kind of land bridge. He's got some Orc Raiders and some Orc Maulers as well. And then over here he's got pretty much the same thing, which is just some more Orc Raiders and maybe some more Orc Maulers. Anyway, we'll now go ahead and go to the army compositions of Gondor. The more elite army is right here by himself. That is Celtic. He's got like 2 or 3 units of the standard Gondor archers, like 3 or 4 units of the Axemen of Lossarnoch, all spread out. Of course, he's got some Gondor militia, more Axemen of Lossarnoch. He's got like 2 or 3 units maybe of the Shielded Fountain Guard. He's also got 1 unit of the normal Fountain Guard, 1 unit of the Citadel Bodyguard, and he's also got some Lossarnoch nobles. There's the standard Fountain Guard. He's also got over here some Sons of Argonath, and then back here he's got just a ton of just standard Gondor infantry, as well as 1 unit of Pelagir Marines. And then way over here you can see the other 2 Gondor armies. The first of which is being commanded by Soph. Now she's got, again, pretty similar, but not quite as high tier as Celtics. She's got some Axemen of Lossarnoch, some Wardens of the White Tower, some Sons of Argonath, and kind of in a throwback to vanilla and some previous versions of Reforged, she's also got 2 units of dismounted Swan Knights, 2 units of Pelagir Marines, 2 units of Veterans of Osgiliath, some 2 units of Gondor Archers, like 4 or 5 units of Gondor Infantry. And she also has a trebuchet around here somewhere, but I don't know actually. Yeah, there, it's right there. And then over here we have the final attacking Gondor army, which is being commanded by Andrei Pinka. He's got some Gondor Marine Swordsmen, some Sons of Argonath, some Citadel Bodyguard. I also forgot to mention that Soph has some Citadel Bodyguard. I think all the Gondor armies have Citadel Bodyguard as their general unit. He's also got 2 units of Lossarnoch Nobles, a Catapult, Gondor Archers, Gondor Infantry, like 4 units of Gondor Militia, 3 units of Axemen of Lossarnoch, and some Ithilien Rangers as well. So I guess without any further ado, we'll go ahead and start the battle off. Right away you can see that Andrei Pinka and Soph being closest are going to begin the assault pretty much right away. Celtic actually has a very, very slow approach to his assault, which we will just have to see if that pays out for him or not. And in fact, I think that Alisson retreats most of his troops covering the land bridges right there, just because he does not want them to get skirmished down pretty much right away by Celtic. So that was a pretty nice move. Over here you can see that the archers and some military stuff going first, not surprising. I think that Grimgor might actually be bringing over his cavalry. Yeah, he is. So we might see a nice charge here from the cavalry of a Grimgor Ironhide. Hopefully he'll be able to get into those Ithilien Rangers. At least I'm sure that's what he is going to be trying to go for. See, the Ithilien Rangers are actually, the Ithilien Rangers are actually running away. So Grimgor does not want his cavalry to get shot to this, so he's going to retreat them as well. Andrei's got some Gondor militia here to try to prevent the cavalry from coming forward, but it's not going to be enough to scare off these Mountain Numenor and Shieldguard, who are going to charge straight into these Gondor militia, and oh, that's going to be just brutal for those poor Gondor militiamen. They're going to take a lot of losses from that, you can see. Oh, already down to like 92. Ooh, that was just a really deadly charge, and the Numenor and Shadowguard only taking, what, 1, 2 losses maybe? Axemen of Lossarnoch back here as well, trying to give some support to the militiamen who just got brutally charged. I believe the archers are actually firing into the cavalry as well, which is going to be pretty effective. Being light cavalry, they aren't super well armored, and because they are not turned around to face the arrows, their shield's not going to do very much for them either. So yeah, Grimgor is going to retreat his 1 unit of cavalry further back before it comes to any more harm. Unfortunately, that will mean that he's not going to be able to get any more cycle charges off, but still, he did get at least 1 nice charge off into those Gondor militia. Over here you can see that Andrei still just has most of his troops moving forward, and it looks like Soph is not far behind him. His trebuchet could prove very, very deadly because it's got some really nice range. Will easily be able to outrange the ballista of Grimgor. See, Andrei's got some Gondor infantry moving further into the city, within sight of the first layer of defense, which is some Orc Raiders giving support to these Uruk Halberds. I'm sure the Orc Raiders are just here to kind of give the shield bonus to the Uruk Halberds, who of course would get skirmished down very quickly otherwise. Over here though, in this very narrow choke point, Grimgor has some pretty low tier stuff like the Orc Maulers and Orc Raiders. However, the Orc Maulers are AP, so that should serve them pretty well. You can see actually the skirmish fight beginning to happen. Some Uruk Archers looked like they were firing a little bit over here, but they're kind of just hitting the hill. Looks like the same thing is happening to the Ithilien Rangers though. So not going to, no one's going to suffer too heavily from that skirmish fire just yet. And over here, Soph has pretty much gathered her full army over here. And way over here, you can see that Alisson is in full retreat with his stuff, and he's going to set up his first defense right here in this one choke point, instead of having to defend those two land bridges. He probably would have been able to defend the two land bridges, but he just had such low tier stuff over here that I don't blame him for retreating like this. Especially because, I mean, if he's able to... yeah, if he keeps his archers right here, when Celtic comes around to attack this area, these archers are going to have a beautiful, beautiful area to fire down on. But we'll take a second to look at this map because it's a really, really interesting map. It's like a siege but with no walls, so it's kind of just like almost like a Numinos where there's just a bunch of like city street fighting, which is something that I actually do like a lot. There's some shield guard and some Olag High as well over here, as well as some Urk archers. Yeah, I'm definitely glad that I turned up the brightness. It was a little bit too dark. Okay, yeah, you can see that the Urk archers are now beginning to skirmish down some of the units over here. It looks like they're going straight for the Ithilien Rangers, which is not a bad idea at all. But the Gondor infantry and Gondor militia here should provide some pretty decent protection to these Ithilien Rangers, who are probably going to begin firing, maybe at the Orc Maulers and stuff back there. But they could also try and return fire into those Urk archers. We'll just have to see what they do. And over here, actually, you can see some more infantry being brought forward, as well as some archers by Andre. He's bringing up some Gondor archers and a lot of axemen of Lossarnoch. You can see he's also going to begin pushing forward his first two units of Gondor infantry. So the first wave of Gondorians is going to crash into the defense of these Mordor forces. You can see his infantry here is kind of in a wonky formation, just kind of like a column, but they're trying to get into a better position to begin the assault. Yes, you can see the Urk halberds and Orc raiders getting ready for this charge of the men of the west. Yeah, the Gondor infantry are going to reform really quickly before they decide to go in there. Not a bad idea. Over here is a lot of archer fire. Ooh, these Orc Maulers just taking an absolute beating right there. But again, that's not really a huge loss because the Orc Maulers are, of course, very cheap and not great. So he is doing a good job of soaking up air fire. Axemen of Lossarnoch actually going to be the first ones in. However, they are going to take a pretty bad charge right there, or a bad arrow volley right there. But they are going to get a nice charge off. Well, I guess not that nice. Only a few of them actually did charge at all. But you can see they are being backed up now by some Gondor infantry, and this is going to be how it begins. This first wave of Orc raiders is going to get butchered pretty quickly. The Axemen of Lossarnoch and Gondor infantry will be well up to the task of taking them down. But the Urk halberds behind them will prove more than a little bit difficult to take out, mostly because the halberds are, of course, AP, and will do a very good job against the heavily armored Gondorian forces right here. However, you can see that the Gondor infantry might actually be going into shield wall and trying a shield wall push, which would be rather interesting to see. I don't know how well that would actually work out for them. Orc raiders in shield wall here just waiting, and the Orc Maulers are there behind them, and everywhere else I don't think much fighting has begun, really. You can see some Gondor militia being brought forward. The Gondor archers are back there as well. Looks like they are now targeting the Olag High, actually. Who are not going to take much damage from that, but every little bit does help. Especially because the trolls are, of course, going to be very good at fighting in the melee. You can see Grimgor's got a lot more of his units back here. And, ooh, either the Trebuchet of Soph or the Catapult of Andre is trying to take out some of these Numenor and Shadowguard of Lengos, who are in an excellent position to, I assume, fire on this front line right here. Yeah, that's going to be pretty dang deadly, because the Numenor and Shadowguard are by no means a bad archer unit. Yeah, these Axemen of Lossarnoch are just dropping very, very quickly to that arrow fire from the Shadowguard. Looks like most of the raiders have been taken out. There's only like 34 of them left, and now the Urk halberds are going to try to take the place of those Orc raiders and take out as many Gondor forces as possible. You can see they're actually being reinforced by some standard Mordor Urks back there as well. You can see the arrows just flying every direction right now through this darkened reddish-black sky. Ooh. Catapult or Trebuchet narrowly missing some of those Olag High. Let's take a look over here. Over here, I do think this is, yeah, I do think this is a mistake. Andre's using his Athelian Rangers to just fire down these Orc Raiders. Because, I mean, the Orc Raiders are by no means good. He would be able to push through them with just one very weakened unit of infantry, and definitely with a healthy unit of militia. So this is, I believe, a pretty big waste of ammunition right there. But it should get the job done, just slower, and definitely it'll cost more in the long run than pushing forward one unit. Over here you can see that Mordor is definitely having to reinforce their lines pretty quickly. These Gondor infantry and Axemen of Lothernok are doing a pretty good job. The most of the first unit of Axemen are dead by now. These two units of Gondor infantry are still pretty healthy. Looks like most of the first unit of, no, not most of them, but there's only 89 halberds left of that first unit. However, there is a couple units of Urks back here as well, backing them up. You can see another wave of Axemen of Lothernok coming in as well. Gonna try to get a nice charge off here, but again, those Shadow Guard up there of Lango is just getting so many kills on these lightly armored shock infantry units who cannot stand up to arrow fire in the best of times, and especially not against pretty decent archers like the Numenorean Shadow Guard, who are on an excellent vantage point. Yeah, you can see they're trying to push forward to get in the mix with these Gondor infantry, who will be able to protect them a little bit with their shields, but they took a lot of arrow fire right there from Lango's units, and they are still taking some arrow fire as we speak. Yeah, Gondor is doing a pretty good job of just grinding down the enemy forces here. We'll take a look at the take a gander at the front line for a bit. But yeah, like I did say, this is in all likelihood going to be the final 0.91 patch on my channel. But again, that is okay, because if you guys have not seen any videos on 0.95, you definitely should check them out. Both JMonster, UMAD Commander have lots of good videos on 0.95, and I've got a couple of 0.95 videos myself. But definitely once it comes out, which is going to be very, very soon, I will definitely start posting a ton of those videos, because 0.91 was very, very fun, don't get me wrong. But there were some things that I did not like about it. But 0.95 is just like absolutely the best. It is incredibly, incredibly fun to play, and it just is really awesome. Okay, you can see another wave of Gondor infantry. This time 4 units, all in shield wall, being brought forward by Soph. She's gonna try to just push through. Looks like in shield wall, which is going to prove very bad for the defenders. And over here, you can actually see that Gondor has broken through these Orc Raiders and Orc Maulers. A huge pusher here by Andre Pinka, just pushing straight through all these defenders here. And looks like Grimgor is trying to send over his unit of Numenorean Shield Guard, but they're not going to get there in time. They're just going to barely be able to slow down this tide of Gondorians before they're able to kind of either sweep around the back of these units. But it looks like that's not even going to be necessary, because Soph's 4 units of Gondor infantry here, all in shield wall, are just pushing straight through what's left of Grimgor's units right here, including some Urk archers that must be out of ammo, as well as some just standard Urks. So definitely not looking too good for the defenders at the moment as it is. You can see the rest of Gondor's forces back there, along with the trebuchet of Soph. But over here, you can definitely see that Mordor is well prepared for the assault upon this hill right here. We've got a ton of very nice units back here, all ready to die in defense of the lands of Mordor. And back here you can see that Alisson still has a ton of stuff back, a ton of units defending this main area, because this is where he was supposed to defend with most of his army. I think he could only retreat with like a couple units, but the rest of his army was did actually have to stay here. You can see that Celtic has now started bringing forward some of his units. He's got some Gondor infantry, Axemen of Lothernok, as well as some Gondor militia, beginning to fight against Alisson's first wave of troops right here. So Gondor is slowly but surely going to cut their way through those guys right there. Unfortunately, there are no archers right here, but looks like Grimgor is actually sending over some Urk archers right there to put on the pressure. That's going to be very, very bad for Celtic, because his shields on his units will not be able to protect them from behind. Getting shot in the back is definitely not very good for them. You can see Soph and Andre were able to break through here, and they are going to just continue to put on the pressure. They're going to first take out the last of those shield guard, and then just continue their assault upon Mordor. And they're going to just continue straight through right up to this hill, and begin the fight against a lot of Lango's units. Looks like some Urk halberds, some Urks, more Urks, Urk bodyguard, and just a lot of other units as well. There's also the ballista right here. Some Numenorean Shadow Guard are out of ammo, but there is another unit right there as well. Still going to continue firing. Just firing to this blob of Gondorians right here. Gonna get a fair amount of kills as well. I mean, most of the the standard Gondor infantry will be able to weather the arrows pretty decently. But besides that, they're not going to do... but besides the Gondor infantry, things like these Axemen of Lothernok, if they're targeted, are going to drop very, very quickly. You can actually see a lot of elites being brought forward now as well. Some Wardens of the White Tower, some Sons of Argonath, dismounted Swan Knights, Veterans of Osgiliath, and just pretty much the whole armies. You can see that Gondor has taken quite a few losses here, but they were able to break through that first layer of defense. They're going to begin the assault on this wall, and it also looks like they're going to actually continue here and attempt to start putting the pressure on some of Alison's units that are defending this like inner city part of the settlement. Take a look over here as the Gondor infantry maybe will begin to attack. Yes, it looks like they are going to go back into shield wall and start attacking these Uruk halberds, who will be again pretty dang good at dealing with the heavily armored units of Gondor. And there we go. The Gondor infantry has begun the fight once more against these forces here. So you can see the shield wall pushes are still very effective in .91 as they always were. But it's not like they're impossible to stop. You can see their Gondorians are actually kind of flinging their own brothers up into the air. So that's not it's not very nice of them. Axemen of Lost are not going in behind the infantry. And these Veterans of Osgiliath are here as well, taking some skirmish fire, but because they do have 2 hit points and a shield bonus, they are going to be able to stand up to that arrow fire very, very well. Ooh, a nice hit on the ballista crew right there from either the catapult or trebuchet of Soph or Andre. And over here you can see the Gondor infantry and Axemen of Lothernok slowly but surely cutting their way through these Uruk halberds. Right behind them, ooh, are the seemingly inexorable Temple Inquisitors, as well as some Uruk bodyguards. So those elites, if committed, will be able to hold that point for a very long time, and definitely will be able to break through should they want to do so. Yes, you can see Grimgor taking advantage of this excellent firing position. His Uruks are just pouring down the arrows into the back of those units. Anyway, my game just crashed, so I will be right back. Okay, we are back now. Hopefully it won't crash again, but if it does, there's no worries, because this is of course a very excellent battle, and I can always just edit it out. But anyway, you can continue. You can see that Grimgor is just continuing to lay waste to the back of Celtic's forces here with his Uruk archers, just firing straight into the unprotected flanks of them. So that is a very nice position to be firing from. If I was an Uruk archer, I would definitely want to be there. Definitely, I would not want to be anywhere close to here if I was one of the orcs, because you can see that right away Gondor is just pushing pretty hard actually right here. You can see they're... looks like they're trying to take out the ballista with their own artillery pieces, but because the catapults and trebuchets are pretty inaccurate, especially with the fire Emelon, I do think that'd be a waste. I think it'd be definitely more worthwhile to try to just fire up at the blobs of units up here instead of at the ballista. Unfortunately, you cannot fire at any of these units right here just because of where the these like mountain things are, but still. Ooh, actually, you saw a second ago the ballista firing. It was going straight, oh yes, straight for the back of the of Soph's elite right here. She's definitely gonna have to run these guys out of here if she wants them to stay alive. She already took a few casualties right here. For, her Wardens of the White Tower are going down to that ballista fire just like any other unit would. So yes, she is going to retreat them right now, which is of course going to be a smart move, because you don't want to lose your elites in that way to artillery right away. You can actually see that Gondor archers just firing point blank basically into these orc archers here, who Alison does not seem to be aware that they're getting shot at. Ooh, Sons of Argonath and Gondor archers and Warden's White Tower going down there from the ballista fire. Dang, yeah, she's definitely gonna have to push these people, these elites forward if she's not to lose them. Plus, her units here would definitely be more than enough to take out these Uruk halberds, Orc archers, Uruks, and mountain trolls. It wouldn't be too difficult, I don't think, to take out these units. Even these units back here would also be not too bad, because of how elite her units there are. There are some shadow guard right there, shield guard right there, but that's not going to be too much of an issue. Yeah, the archers, the Uruk archers here have just really been whittling down the numbers of Celtic, who has pushed. Well, he has pushed forward here a lot. The archer fire is just the constant archer fire running to the back of his units is just not going to be very good for him. He needs to just push through as quickly as possible to actually be able to stop those Orc archers from firing. Actually, there's another unit of Orc archers right here firing point blank into the Gondor infantry. At least from this angle, though, these Gondor infantry do have their shields, their shield bonus. But just from the Orc archers up there, that is definitely not any good for them. Yes, you can see over here that Alison's units are now going to get engaged in melee by Sof's elites. Looks like the Orc archers are trying to possibly target the Sons of Argonath and all the other units here. The Sons of Argonath would not be a bad target because they are unshielded, but because of their hit points and high armor, they should be able to deal with that relatively well. Peregrine Marines coming over here as well. Probably going to toss their javelins in. I would be tempted to maybe wait to throw the javelins at some of the higher tier units like the Shield Guard or maybe the Temple Inquisitors, but you do have to do what you have to do. So if you were to throw them at these mountain trolls or the Orc archers, I would definitely not be very unhappy about that. You can see the Peregrine Marines actually coming under fire now. Actually, dismounted Swan Knight's very tired. That's not going to be very good for them when they are fighting here hard in the melee. So we'll see how that turns out for them. Some of the Wardens pushing a little too far forward, getting cut down after being taken away from the rest of their unit. Yeah, Peregrine Marines throwing straight into maybe the mountain trolls. Yeah, mountain trolls. Maybe it would be a better idea to go for the Orc archers, but still, mountain trolls is not a horrible pick. You can see Olaghai actually were committed over here to kind of shore up the line, as well as some more Urks. So you can see the Gondor forces here are starting to thin quite heavily. I feel like most of the reason of this is because of these Olaghai. There's also the 2 units of Sauron's Will here, a ton of Uruks, Uruk Bodyguard who are AP with multiple points, and yes, it looks like there are in fact the Temple Inquisitors of Grimgor Ironhide. So this is definitely turning back in favor of Mordor right here. And there are even some more Numenorean Shadow Guard coming in. Well, there are some Numenorean Shadow Guard coming in right now. Ooh, nice hit right there, sneaking right through this little crevice right here in the mountain area. Some Orc Maulers retreating, don't want to overcommit. But again, Gondor, if they do not commit some more units here, they are going to lose this fight very quickly because of just the amount of numbers and elites that Mordor has here. So you can see that actually Andre Pinka did have to commit some Lothernok nobles over here as well. But again, a lot of these units are very tired. 103 of these Lothernok Axemen are actually shaken. If they rout, it would be kind of unlikely if they were to come back. And see the catapult crew is taking some pretty heavy archer fire right now, not in loose formation. There goes the general of one of the Mortar armies. I'm assuming that would be Grimgor's general, because I think he had his Uruk Bodyguard over here somewhere. Yeah, he's actually pulling his Uruk Bodyguard out of here, but oh no, he's recommitting, but it's a little too late now. You can see the yeah, a lot of the Gondor units are actually wavering, some are broken. Yeah, so definitely not very good for Gondor. They just were kind of wiped away here by the amount of elites that Mordor did have defending this bridge, which is not good for them because they pushed their units so far forward. They may actually end up getting surrounded. You can actually see some shielded Fountain Guard of Sof as well, so General's unit of Citadel Bodyguard over here. Just kind of trying to break through Alison's troops right here. But again, because they pushed so far forward and didn't commit enough units here, they may find themselves very quickly surrounded. You can actually see the Trebuchet of Sof over there, unsupported, will definitely get taken out. You can see the catapult has pretty much all been taken out by the ballista of Grimgor. But again, this Trebuchet crew is probably just trying to get some last minute hits in onto this big blob of Mordor troops before it is taken out, because it is definitely going to be targeted by the Mordor players. And over here, the Gondor forces are starting to get definitely taken out. You can see another nice firing position for Lengo's Shadow Guard right here, now firing into some Gondor militia who are being held back by Grimgor Ironhide's unit of Numenorean Shadow Guard. So now all that's left of Soph and Andre Pinka's forces is pretty much bottled up right here, basically. Andre, in particular, doesn't really have that many units left, except, actually, no, wait, I just forgot. That he didn't look like he had that many units because he actually, yeah, he was, since they technically took most of that area back there, he does have pretty much all of his elites back here as well. He's got his General Citadel Bodyguard, Sons of Argonath, Gondorian Winged Swordsmen, as well as some Lost Nobles, and some Gondor Militia and Lost Nobles, as well as his 2 units of Ithilien Rangers. However, back here, Mordor definitely has the troops to deal with him. They don't seem to be paying too much attention to him right now, but don't worry, they definitely will go back over there very quickly. Yes, you can see, now that they have broken through here, they are going to be able to retreat a lot of these units back there to deal with Andre Pinka's forces. Very depleted forces, I should say. Ooh, Veterans of Osgiliath taking some ballista fire right there, but again, that's not too horrible for them. I mean, they're obviously not going to be able to tank ballista shots, but it is at least wasting the ammo of the ballista. Well, I wouldn't say wasting. That actually is a pretty good target there, especially if the veterans still have ammo. Shield Guard actually going to be committed over there by Alisson. He's got some more Shadow Guard over here. And then way over here, you can see that Celtic actually finally pushed his way through this first defense of Alisson, but you can see that he took a horrendous amount of casualties considering the fact that most of the units down here that Alisson had were relatively low tier. He's also got to continue pushing through these Orc Archers and then try to take out pretty much the last of Alisson's forces, which are some Uruk Halberds, Orc Raiders, and some more Uruks. He's also got the Shield Guard somewhere around here, some Shadow Guard, and he Grimgor actually still has a decent amount of troops left as well. But also, both Grimgor and Alisson still have their health units of, what are they called? Temple Inquisitors. Gondor Infantry actually breaking Axemen of Lossarnoch. Ooh, yeah. The 42 Temple Inquisitors still going strong, going to be able to do a lot of damage to the forces out here. Gondor Archers kind of just getting thrown away, I'm assuming, just to kind of slow the enemy down, but I don't think they would have to worry about that too much because there are so many elites here. I don't think that Mordor would really want to attack over here, but we'll just have to see. You can see that Alisson is trying to retreat a lot of his forces. One of the Gondor armies is now down to half men in the army. A lot of routing troops. Yeah, Alisson doesn't have a ton of units left over, but he still does have enough to still be able to do some pretty nice damage to the remaining Gondorian forces. Whoa. And Lengo, of course, still pretty healthy in terms of his army. You can see actually some Gondor forces back there. But yeah, yeah, there goes Alisson's Temple Inquisitors as well as his Uruk Bodyguard. And yeah, up here, Lengo still has a lot of really nice units like the Temple Guard, Troll Catapults, Arms Will, and just stuff like that. This Troll Catapult in particular, oh man, this thing gets some excellent catapult hits later in the game. Excuse me. But yeah, you can see that definitely Gondor was handily beaten right here, and Mortar's just kind of running around now, sweeping away the last of these Gondor units. Some Axemen of Lossarnoch being engaged in melee by some Shadow Guard, and over here these archers are trying to hold back these Uruk Bodyguard, and the archers are going to be no match for that, and they will definitely end up losing that fight. But again, that's unsurprising, and that is how they're supposed to be. And yeah, you can see Soph just continuing to push forward, running around through this kind of city area. Gonna maybe try to take out some of Grimgor's remaining troops, as well as Alisson's, like the Shadow Guard, Shield Guard, and I think I think Grimgor's stuff is mainly over here. He used to have it back there, but not anymore. Yes, and you can see over here, Mortar has turned around and are ready to face the remaining forces of Andre Pinka over here, who are kind of in a wonky formation, but again, there's not really much he can do about that quite yet. Looks like he only has one archer unit that still does have ammo. However, while he does have some good units here, if Mortar focuses on him, he would definitely be crushed pretty quickly. Unless he takes that position like right where he is in the choke point, he would definitely get defeated pretty dang fast. Yeah, the last of those Gondor archers now getting cut down, and over here, Soph is just continuing to just run around through the city with her units. Looks like she may actually consider attacking Alisson's forces right here. Yeah, looks like that's where she's going with her wardens, archers, and shielded fountain guard. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, yeah, it looks like Lango's Numenor and Shadowguard are just waiting, biding their time to find a better unit to shoot at because, actually, they are, yeah. Definitely not going to want to fire at these shielded fountain guard wardens of the White Tower because they have some really nice shield values, shield and armor values, as well as hit points. But the Gondor archers wouldn't be a bad target, but they are out of ammo, so it's. I feel like also I might be kind of just wasting his ammo a little bit there, but not a huge mistake by any means. You can see a lot of those, well, not a lot, but a few of those Gondor archers going down there. And yes, you can see that Sopsoph is beginning to push forward some of her units like these Wardens of the White Tower to possibly, yeah, begin fighting against these Shield Guard and Shadow Guard. Yeah, just continuing to push through. Let's look over here. Yeah, Mortar was able to, again, beat the forces of Gondor right there. But Andre Pinka, and also over here, Andre Pinka has kind of formed up in a little bit better of a formation, in my opinion. And yeah, you can see that Lango definitely still has a lot of his elites left over. But then again, so does Celtic. Celtic does still have a lot of his army left over. Well, not a lot numbers-wise. He lost most of his kind of low-tier units. He doesn't have that much militia or standard Gondor infantry left over. But he still has a ton of elites, as you can see, just all standing around there. Oh, sorry about the little bit of weird camera work. It's kind of strange just because of all the buildings. It kind of like jitters around, but. Yeah, okay, now you can see the Wardens of the White Tower about to rush in against these, actually a few Uruk halberds, but mostly the, into the Numenor and Shield Guard right here, being backed up, or the Wardens are being backed up by some veterans of Osgiliath and just the rest of Sopsoph's army. Yeah, there we go, they're just pushing forward. Yeah, you can see that Mordor's not going to be able to hold here for very long, even though the Shield Guard is a not a bad spear unit at all. Just the sheer amount of numbers of Gondor that Gondor has here will be able to push through with not ease, but they will be able to do it fairly quickly. Yeah, the Shield Guard are definitely starting to struggle now. There's also some Citadel Bodyguard here. In .91, the Citadel Bodyguard was the only variant of the Citadel Guard I would ever bring in melee, or in a battle when playing as Gondor. I didn't generally bring them anyways, but these guys were at least kind of worth it because they were actually AP. But in .91, spears weren't all that good anyway, which is, I'm happy to say, not the case in .95. Spears are actually quite useful. Alisson taking up a nice firing position here, going to try to fire into the flanks of these units here, which is not a bad idea, but because there's no units here, Sopsoph will be free to push forward some of our units here to silence these archers. But you can also see that Lango is now firing his arrows into this blob of Gondor troops. But like I said, since most of these guys do have shields, they won't suffer from that too much. Even these Sons of Argonath who don't have shields will be able to stand up to that very well. Yeah, Wardens of the White Tower now going to try to go after those Shadow Guard. But they need to be careful not pushing forward too far, because if they push forward too far, they will be maybe brought out to here, and then they will get killed by all these mortar units right here. Looks like the Shadow Guard are returning from taking out Sopsoph's Trebuchet crew. That is, in fact, where they had come from. Let's go ahead and see over here if Andre has fought at all yet. Nope, doesn't look like it. Got some Ithilien Rangers just sitting there. Ooh, almost taking some casualties from the Ballista. So yeah, Andre's just kind of waiting. He doesn't want to attack quite yet, because definitely that would not be good for him. Again, he's not allowed, I don't think, to push it around this way just yet. But this is a definitely a nice way to attack from once they begin the assault on the final, I guess, Citadel, you could call this area back here. Going this way would definitely be a good choice for the Gondorians, because even though it is a very small choke point, it is kind of behind all of these mortar units. So if they're able to break through here, they could go over here and attack the units that are defending this gate, which this gate right here is the only way you could actually get in through this way, except for that back path right there. Lengo's shield, Shadow Guard. No, I always mix those up. Lengo's Shadow Guard up there are now out of ammo. Wardens of the White Tower are returning from chasing down these Numenorean Shadow Guard. They don't want to, like I said, go too far forward because they don't want to get surrounded and cut down and stuff. And there's just the last of these Shield Guard here, now getting cut down by Soph-Soph's army. And we'll take a look now at what's going on with, yeah, Celtic. He is, again, I don't know how I feel about him firing this much into these Uruk Halberds. I mean, Uruk Halberds are, of course, a nice target for arrows, but I would not use both, because I feel like these arrows would be very, very important to use later in the game rather than right now against some pretty cheap units like the Uruks and Orc Raiders. Especially because it looks like for the most part he's not even hitting a whole lot of halberds, he's mostly just hitting the Orc Raiders. So I don't know how I feel about that quite yet. But anyway, I think most of his, the rest of his troops are down here, still some healthy Sons of Argonath, and just all the rest of his elites. He's got still 2 units of the Shield Fountain Guard as well as some Citadel Bodyguard. He's just got a lot of units left over. Same with some Pelargir Marines, actually, who still have a lot of ammo, as well as some Athelian Rangers that you just saw hiding. But besides those troops over there, I'm pretty sure that's all of Alison's army, except for his elites that he had retreated. And of course these Shadow Guard here that are now going into hiding, but they will probably be very shortly found out by the oncoming tide of Gondor forces here. Those 3 Uruk Halberds, not sure which way they should be running. They are of course broken. Gonna run headlong into the Gondor forces. Definitely not the best idea. Definitely not the smartest way to go when running away. Yeah, Alison is going to try to pull his Shadow Guard out of there. Hopefully in time to get up here behind the forces of Lengo. Over here, it looks like, Mortar actually has taken the offensive here. The Grimgor's got some Mornon heavy maulers and some Shadow Guard, as well as some Sauron's Will, all fighting against a lot of what's left of Andre Pinka's force, which is some Gondor militia and some Western nobles. But not far behind them is the kind of better portion of his remaining army, which is some Athelian Rangers, Citadel Bodyguard, Gondorian Rain Swordsmen, and some Sons of Argonath. So yeah, again, this is kind of like the grindy part of the battle. I may speed this part up just a little bit for the sake of the length of this video, because this video is going to be very long. I mean, you can see by the frames, it's like 94,000 frames. But again, there's like a 20,000 frame cut in between, so it's more like 70,000 frames, but still, that's a very long video. So, in these really slow parts like this, I think I may just go ahead and speed up to at least, or to like 2 times maybe, because once Soph is running around after, Soph's just kind of running around. Looks like she's going to go try to support Celtic by attacking Alison from behind. But maybe once Alison's forces here have fallen, then I think I will go ahead and just speed it up, because I think after that the only real fighting that happens is between Andre and the Mortar forces just on that one little choke point. Yeah, see, now this is, if his archers are all out of ammo, then that's very unfortunate, because yeah, it looks like they are out of ammo, because of course right when he runs out of ammo, the Orc Halberds have no cover whatsoever from their allies, or from their other units there, except for these Uruks who were trying to chase down the Pelargir Marines. So now would be the time when you would be wanting to use your archers to fire at them. But he's out of ammo now, so he's going to have to commit them in melee against these Halberds, along with some remnants of the his lower and mid-tier units right here. Ooh, Halberd taking out one of those militiamen right there. But yeah, Soph does have her units slowly but surely coming forward around here to help out Celtic. Oh, actually, she might just be kind of setting up. But then again, we are coming pretty close to when Lengo said there was a big cut in the battle where there's a lot of people AFK. But of course, I will definitely cut that out. I don't want that to be in the video. You guys and me just like watching a blank screen pretty much. But anyway, well, not a blank screen, but just a screen with no units moving or anything like that. Yeah, you can see the Sauron's Will just chanting back there, gonna prevent a lot of wavering morale in the Mordor lines. Thelian Rangers actually have been committed in melee. Not definitely the best archer unit in melee, but they can still do okay against some low tier stuff. But being backed up with things like the Lost Narc Nobles, it should be okay for them. See actually some Gondor militia breaking. And some Gondor ranged swordsmen going to be committed over here as well. These guys should do well. They're not AP obviously, but being shock infantry with very nice attack values, they should do quite well. Plus they look very nice as well. And they may have an inspiring type thing. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like they inspire units around them. But again, I'm not totally positive about that. Yeah, so the AP of these Lost Narc Nobles will serve them quite well here. But again, ooh, actually looks like the lesser Balrogs of Lango are going to be committed over here. This is a pretty daring move, I feel, because they're going to be able to break through these lines probably and kind of break up the formation here. But you can actually see the Sons of Argonath being committed here as well. So the lesser Balrogs may find themselves in a sticky situation here and may actually end up dying. But if they're able to break through these Gondor lines and break up the last of Andrei Pinka's forces so that they're cut down, then I definitely think it would be worth it. But it's just all going to be about if the lesser Balrogs are able to do that. Because if they're not, then they're just going to get slowly but surely cut down. Ooh, a whole row of those Sons of Argonath right there getting ballistad. Ooh, ballistad not stopping there though, trying to go after some Citadel Bodyguard now who are going to be committed against the lesser Balrogs. So this is pretty much all of Andrei Pinka's forces there. Looks like the Sons of Argonath are trying to creep their way around to the flank here. Maybe get up into that ballista crew. Yes, that is in fact what they're doing. But that's definitely not what the ballista crew wants, because there's only 6 of them left now as that one got cut down. So these Shadowguard are here to try to stop these Sons of Argonath from their advance. Over here, there's just more units running around. Looks like that, archers may be committed over on that area. At least maybe begin firing. And over here, you can see that the main bulk of Sofsof's army is just kind of sitting here, but then again, she may have been AFK at that moment. She's running some Pelasgian Marines around, though, so I don't know about that. Yes, so Celtic was able to claim victory over this area, but again, he took a lot of casualties right there. So now comes the part where I was saying where it's pretty much just nothing but a slow grind with the last of Andrei Pinka's forces. So I think I'll go ahead and put this up to 2 times just for now, because I mean, there's really nothing much that can be said for now anyway. If you guys don't approve of this, just go ahead and yell at me in the comments. I won't get offended. There's no worries about that. It's not like I'm going to put up to 6 times. I'll just put up to 2 times for now, because it's going to be close. Because there already is 1 Balrog down, and they haven't been able to really break through this Gondor line quite yet. I mean, it is getting thin over here. These winged swordsmen are definitely struggling. Sons of Argonath doing pretty well up there. But yeah, it's definitely getting pretty close over here in this choke point area. Yeah, so these winged swordsmen not having the best time of it. I mean, they definitely are doing okay, but just because they don't have very many numbers left, they're definitely starting to struggle. Also, there is the fact that there are some Uruk Bodyguard who are AP with multiple hit points. There's also the Mordor Heavy Maulers who are AP. So it's going to be very close here. Sons of Argonath going to hold for a long time, especially because the ballista right here is going to prevent any more than a few enemies attacking them at once. Oh, whoa. Are all the Balrogs dead except for that one? Yeah, whoa. All of the Balrogs except for one have fallen. So, wow, that's a pretty big loss. There he goes. So all of the lesser Balrogs have fallen. That was a pretty big loss there. I mean, they did definitely do work. You can see the Gondor line has definitely been thinned right here. But, very, very interesting call there. Another unit of Urks is going to have to be committed down there, which is leaving this hillside dangerously under-defended. But again, there's not too much cause for fear because of the fact that these armies over here are AFK. Maybe just giving a few last-minute orders to march into the city before leaving. But don't worry, they will be back, and I will, of course, make the cut once when they leave. Well, once this fight over here ends, back to when they come back. Sons of Argonath again. Ooh, there goes Andre's general. The Citadel Bodyguard not doing their job well enough to keep the general alive, apparently. Only 49 Sons of Argonath remaining. Well, I shouldn't say only. I think they started at 66 because I think this battle was on a large setting, not huge. But again, a very, very deadly battle so far. Definitely, no matter what the outcome, I don't think that there will be any prisoners on either side because, of course, these are two hated enemies that have been fighting for many an age. Ooh, Citadel Bodyguard getting cut down by some... Ooh, yeah, there are Temple Inquisitors here. No wonder the Gondor lines are starting to thin even quicker than before. Yeah, it looks like Andre's not going to be able to hold on here for too much longer. Yeah, definitely, even if the Gondor forces are able to cleanse the this land, these filthy orcs, they're definitely not going to have any mercy if they happen to take any prisoners. Because they have lost many lives even to get this far. And, I mean, like I said, it's still very, very close. I mean, look at the percentages. Actually, it's going quite heavily in favor of the attackers at the moment, but even still, the defender's doing a very excellent job, and I still do not really... I don't really know who's going to win. It's very close. Looks like Andre is actually retreating a lot of his troops. Maybe he just wants to get them out of there. To have maybe some units at the end of to help out towards the end of the battle, possibly. But if he's not careful, his troops might just end up getting run down by these forces right here. But it looks like Mortar might not pursue that heavily. Yeah, maybe with a few units, but not very many. So yeah, Andre is going to go ahead and retreat some of his forces. We'll speed up to 6 times now, just to see, or yeah, 6 times, just to see what happens. I'm pretty sure, yeah, he's just running away with some units chasing after him. Actually, some of his units getting shot right now. Citadel Bodyguard. By some, yeah, looks like Mordor is not going to give chase for very much longer, except for with those Númenor and Shadowguard, who, being unsupported, are going to actually get cut down pretty quickly by the Sons of Argonath if they manage to catch them. So yeah, looks like that's going to be it for most of Andre's forces. We'll see if he was able to do enough damage here to help out his allies. I mean, he definitely did do a lot of damage, but it's just going to be a matter of if he did enough. You can see that Mordor is actually retreating further into the Citadel. They've decided that they don't have enough men to actually defend this whole outer area anymore, so they are going to retreat further into the area. Like I said before, the only 2 areas you can get into this portion of the map is through this gate right here, and through this little ramp over here. So definitely if Gondor wants to win, you're going to have to attack both points at once to try to thin out Mordor's forces. You can see that there still are a lot of health units. There's still 2 units of Temple Inquisitors. Health units of Temple Inquisitors anyway. There's still some Urk Bodyguard, Temple Guard, and some archers, as well as the Troll Catapult, as well as some halberds and stuff like that. There's just still a lot of units. There's still a lot more Shield Guard. Yeah, there's the Mortar more on halberds. But again, going to be a very close battle. But this, yes, so this is when, in fact, the players are pretty much AFK. You can see that Soph is marching forward now. But like I said before, actually, I don't know if I said this before, but I did actually attempt recording this before, but my mic was all messed up. So this is the 2nd time I'm doing it now. But yeah, pretty much now is, in fact, the time when people are AFK. It must, I think, maybe one of the Mordor players was AFK, and possibly Celtic, because you can see Sof is moving right now. But I'll go ahead and just speed it up now, and I will cut it out and see you guys in just a bit. Okay, so we are back now. I thought I'd just go ahead and pause it just for a second so we can see what Gondor is going in here with. You can see that Sof has got most of her army right here, as well as some of Celtic's forces. And then back here is where the rest of Celtic and Sof have all of their units. You can see that Sof actually still does have a good amount of elites left, as well as Celtic. I think that, yeah, it looks like Andre Pinka's small amount of remaining forces here as well, that being some Sons of Argonath, some Winged Swordsmen, and some few Citadel Bodyguard. Anyway, you can see right away some pretty much just scraps of units of Gondor's going in first. Going to go into this little building. We're getting a little nice, some nice little building fighting here with some Orc Maulers of Langos. Yeah, first looks like there's just going to be some scraps of units going in, followed by some Wardens of White Tower, some Veterans of Osgiliath, and some Citadel Bodyguards. So there is still some nice and high tier stuff here as well. So the Troll Catapult is trying to take advantage of these troops but getting blobbed up. So it looks like for the most part Gondor is going to just have a few units attacking this way, but the majority of their units are going to go around the little hillside here. And you have to remember that this isn't all of their units, because Celtic still has a very, very large portion of his forces slowly making their way around here. You can see he's still got some Pelican Marines with full ammo, 2 units of Shielded Fountain Guard, 1 unit of normal Fountain Guard, completely healthy Citadel Bodyguard, some Sons of Argonath, Athelian Rangers, Lossarnock Nobles, more Athelian Rangers, and a couple units of Axemen of Lossarnock as well. He's just slowly marching them around. Doesn't want them to get too tired before they do have to fight. So again, we will now go ahead and go over here, because it looks like Sof is maybe going to charge in. Nope, not quite yet. It looks like she's just going to reform a little bit. But over here we can go ahead and watch the kind of like inner city fighting right here. These Orc Maulers not going to have a very fun time of it against the Wardens of the White Tower and Gondor Infantry and stuff like that. So yeah, these Orc Maulers are just going to get cut down pretty quickly. And behind them, Mortar does have a pretty nice defense. Lengo's got some Uruks, Mordor Mornon halberds, some Uruk halberds, and then back behind here, there's some more Uruk archers, Troll Catapult, and then way over here, you can see there's some Temple Inquisitors, Uruk Bodyguard, Temple Guard is around here somewhere as well, Shadow Guard, and just a bunch of other units as well. I think there's also one more unit of Temple Inquisitors around here. I know there's at least 2 units of completely healthy Temple Inquisitors left, but I don't know where the second one actually is. Anyway, we'll look over here now, because it looks like Sof may actually be charging forward now. Yes, you can see some Swan Knights, dismounted Swan Knights I should say, in Shield Wall, going to be the first in, followed by some Gondor Archers, and then closely followed by some Sons of Argonath, and Shielded Fountain Guard and stuff like that. There's also some Pelican Marines here as well. Not to mention the Citadel Bodyguard, which is somewhere around here. Yeah, there it is. There's Gondor Archers right there as well. Looks like the catapult is actually wheeling around to face this portion of Gondor's army, which is definitely a better target, I would think, because it has more elites than the other side. Also, the other side has a worse angle to actually be firing at because of the whole building there. Looks like there might be some remaining yet. Grimgor's remaining Temple Inquisitors are here as well. Temple Guard are also here, going to try to get some shots off. Their AP arrows will definitely do a lot of damage to the unshielded units, like the Sons of Argonath, that are here as well. Shielded Fountain Guard are also being pushed forward. I love the Shielded Fountain Guard. Really like their shields. Look very, very spiffy. Yeah, looks like the Troll Catapult is wheeling itself into position. And over here, Gondor has pretty much cleaned up the last of these Orc Maulers and is going to continue to push forward and begin this assault on 2 fronts. But for now, we'll go look over here with where most of Sof's army is, because this is where things get kind of more interesting. Okay, you can see dismounted Swan Knights slowly moving forward, along with the Shielded Fountain Guard, who are actually pushing through in Shield Wall, doing a nice job just pushing through these Mortar units right here. Temple Guard, just waiting for their opportunity to be able to fire at some stuff. But oh man, this is not good, because of all the shielded units, or Shield Wall units right here. The Troll Catapult, if it gets some hits off, which you can see it is firing, is going to do a ton of damage to these very elite units. And even though Gondor is kind of winning the percentage quite heavily at the moment, if the Catapult of Mordor starts getting a lot of kills, it's going to turn this thing around really, really quickly. Oh yes, look at that, just taking out a huge amount of dismounted Swan Knights and shielded Fountain Guard. Oh my goodness. That is just, oh, that is horrible right there. For Gondor anyway. You can see Gondor trying to push forward. They don't want to have to suffer that catapult fire any longer than they have to, so they're going to try to push forward as quickly as possible. But again, because they're in shield wall and stuff, they're going to continue to take horrible losses from that catapult. See some Earth Bodyguard marching over here to shore up the line. Shield Fountain Guard not going to be able to push their way as easily through the Shield Guard as they were on the other side. Oh! The Gondor General! I believe that was Sopsof's General going down right there, along with another huge blob of dismounted Swan Knights and shielded Fountain Guard. You can see shielded Fountain Guard are starting to take quite a lot of losses. Things are not looking very well. Things are not looking very good for Gondor. You can see that there's actually a number of routing units. So the reinforcements of Celtic cannot get here any faster because they are definitely needed over here. They might be a little late, but again, late is better than never. More. Oh my goodness. It's just like, oh my gosh. It's just like shooting fish in a barrel. Dismounted Swan Knights actually thinking about, yeah, it's 42 dismounted Swan Knights actually routed. Shielded Fountain Guard also routing. Oh man, things are not looking very good at all. That catapult has definitely started turning things a lot closer. Over here though, Gondor is starting to kind of push slowly through. Warden's White Tower, because they have fought for so long, they're starting to take quite a lot more casualties. And because of there are the what are they called? Temple Inquisitors over here as well. I think there might actually be 2 units of Temple Inquisitors over here. I saw that Lango's unit of Temple Inquisitors is over here. Yeah, it looks like it might just be Lango's unit of Temple Inquisitors, but you also have to remember that Alisson still has a completely healthy unit of Temple Inquisitors of his own. So right here, Gondor is kind of starting to struggle, just like the other side. You can see that Lango's actually definitely feels comfortable enough to pull this unit of Shield Guard over to a different location. You can see that these Uruk archers are actually starting to take a lot of fire from Celtic's Athelian Rangers, who have gotten in range. The Troll Catapult is again just trying to fire wherever it can. Temple Guard are marching around it as well. Things are definitely looking a lot closer because of that. I mean, Gondor was just completely and utterly destroyed over on this flank, mainly due to that catapult. That thing was just insanely clutch in that area. But yeah, looks like their Gondorians are coming back for another round. Especially looks like they're also going to come up here with Celtic's forces. But again, Celtic is taking a quite slow approach to this, not being super aggressive at the moment. Definitely doesn't want to have to take any unnecessary catapult fire. But again, if he wants to hold on to the small gains that they have made on either of these sides, he's going to have to support his allies very quickly. Especially because over here you can see that Mortar is definitely starting to beat back the attackers. Temple Inquisitor is still at 61, just taking out units left and right. Yeah, Veterans of Osgiliath also going to be no match in melee for the Temple Inquisitors, especially when these Temple Inquisitors and stuff have the support of the Numenor Shield Guard and Uruks and things like that. I think there might be yeah, it looks like there's even still 72 of the Halberds left as well, giving some nice AP there where it is definitely needed. But for now, we'll go ahead and take a look over here. Again, the Athelian Range is now firing at some Uruk archers who are not firing, so again, I would maybe save the ammo, but still. Okay, over here it looks like maybe a bit of a better approach. Instead of just kind of blobbing up super badly, Gondor is just sending forward a few units, but definitely these few units that they have sent forward are definitely quite high tier and will be quite good at taking out the Mortar forces here, especially the Sons of Argonath that are here. Citadel Bodyguard will not do bad either. But this is a very, very formidable pairing right here. The Númenor and Shield Guard are here to give some nice defense, while the Saurons that are mixed in here will be able to provide some very, very deadly offense with their AP two-handed weapons. Yeah, so these Citadel Bodyguard are going to be quite hard pressed. You can actually see the Gondor archers routing. Andre Pinka is going to commit his Citadel Bodyguard, as well as maybe his remaining Sons of Argonath and some winged swordsmen, which is all he has left. Looks like some of Sof's units have returned from routing, and Celtic is beginning to march forward. His Pelagir Marines, these are going to be very, very key here, because they do actually still have ammo left, because they haven't fired a single time this whole game, I don't think. So if they're able to get over here and maybe throw their stuff, maybe throw their javelins at either the Earth Bodyguard or especially the Temple Guard, could turn things back in favor of Gondor. But right now, Gondor is having a very, very difficult time, that is for sure. The percentage is definitely starting to swing back in favor. Well, I mean, it's still in favor of the attackers, but because of what Gondor is doing at the moment, it is definitely slowly but surely making its way back to pretty even. Be pretty even. You can see the second unit of Temple Inquisitors actually now marching over here, so this is going to be an incredibly, incredibly difficult place to attack. Yeah, you can see that there's just some Gondor archers here pretty much now. All the other units have been taken out. Looks like the archers are actually thinking about wavering. So, yeah, maybe, and it's going to be very difficult. Yeah, the archers actually routing now. So that's not good. Now Mordor's not going to be able to... Now Mordor is not going to have to worry about any kind of fire or any kind of pressure there pretty much at all. So Celtic may have to send some units over this way as well to prevent himself from just having to attack from one choke point. Because if he is forced to attack from one choke point, that means all of Mordor's forces will be able to concentrate their defending forces on just the one area instead of two. So it's always good to attack at multiple areas whenever you can to thin out the defending lines. Over here you can see that Gondor has made some headway against these Sauron's Will and Shield Guard javelins actually going in now. Looks like they were going for the Troll Catapult, but that's not going to be too effective unless the Troll Catapult is as it is how it is right now, backed away, because I think when it was closer he did try to throw their javelin. Celtic did try to throw his javelins at them, but the catapult was just blocking all the javelins. The javelins were just sticking straight into him. You can see the Temple Guard have also retreated just out of range of the javelins as well. Soph actually is throwing her javelins here as well. Yeah, there's still this very healthy unit of Earth Bodyguard that's going to prove very troublesome to dislodge. You can see the Sons of Argonath and Dismounted Swan Knights and Citadel Bodyguard actually taking some pretty heavy fire from those AP arrows of the Temple Guard. It's definitely not going to be very healthy for them. You can see the arrows just whizzing straight in like bullets, basically. Yeah, there we go. That's definitely a good target right there. Going after these Earth Bodyguard with the javelins is going to be a very nice thing to do. But yeah, Gondor is slowly but surely making their way through here. Mortar is starting to run a little bit out of infantry here, but they still do have these Earth Bodyguard and more infantry down there. A lot of infantry actually to spare that they can send up here, seeing as Gondor doesn't have any units down there to menace that gate quite yet. Yeah, they're going to have to commit some more units here, because while they are kind of buckling the mortar lines in one area, they are actually getting outflanked as it is right here by the Sauron's Will. But again, Celtic, it's just going to come down to if Celtic's huge amount of forces, well, not huge, but it's just going to come down to if Celtic's amount of forces is enough to take out the remaining Mordor ones, because you can see he still has the 2 Shield Found Guard, Citadel Bodyguard, his own Sons of Argonath, as well as some Standard Found Guard, and some Axemen of Lossarnoch. Because he's going to send a lot of his units over this way, which is not a bad idea. Sons of Argonath and Fountain Guard are definitely going to be needed over here, as well as these Lossarnoch nobles, to try and deal with these Mordor units, especially because of the fact that there are the Temple Inquisitors over here. Looks like right now, though, it's only Alison's unit of Temple Inquisitors. Looks like Lingo may have taken his elsewhere. Shield Guard are going back down to that gate, though, because of the Gondor forces. And over here you can see the Axemen of Lossarnoch now going to come over here and give support to the remaining units of Andre and Soph. But again, actually Earth Bodyguard have been committed here as well, but he may end up regretting this decision, because the catapult is once again coming back Because these forces are very blobbed up, this is going to not be good if the catapult is able to fire. You can see it actually is firing already. And it's also not going to be very good at all, especially because the Axeman Lossernok, he's actually going to retreat them, which is a smart move. Because the Axeman Lossernok do not have very good morale anyway, so they would definitely suffer from that quite grievously. Oh my gosh. Was that friendly fire or what? I don't know if that was friendly fire or if it just took out like every single one of the remaining Sons of Argonath and Citadel Bodyguard right there. Oh, the Power Peregrine Marines and Axemen of Lossernok just having a horrible time. You can see a huge portion of dead dismounted Swanites right there. I like the dismounted Swanites, they're quite cool looking. Yeah, that Lango's Troll Catapult, man, really coming in clutch here. And again, the percentage is slowly inching its way back to be a bit more even. Peregrine Marines now actually think about wavering, even though they're at like 86 men left in the unit. Oh boy, not looking too good for the attackers right here. These choke points are proving very troublesome to actually be able to break through. And it looks like over here Celtic's forces are just kind of menacing this gate here. They don't want to attack quite yet, but because that would be quite difficult for them to actually break through. But by leaving units here, it is forcing Mordor to leave their own units here to defend that area. But I mean, they've got 2 units of Temple Inquisitors here, so that's definitely more than enough to defend that gate. I would feel, especially if they were, especially if the Temple Inquisitors marched into that little building, because that'd be an even smaller choke point. Yeah, now Gondor is kind of getting pushed back yet again. Okay, there's more javelin volleys. This time going off the catapult, but again, you can see most of them are either missing or just going straight into the actual like physical catapult instead of the trolls manning it. There's still 11 trolls to man it. Anyway, it looks like most of the arrows of the Aethelnunders have been spent as well. And yes, just going to be another kind of slow portion of the battle, at least until Celtic does decide to push forward once more. So we'll just go ahead and watch this fight as it is right now. Sofso still has a pretty nice portion of her Citadel Bodyguard left, but most of these Sons of Argonath have fallen at the moment, or at this point. There's only 27 of Sofsos, and I don't think Andre has really any left, unless he pulled them out again. But the Citadel Bodyguard and Shield Fountain Guard is still there, so... Oh my gosh, the catapult, man. Early on, that catapult took out so many guys. Actually, the Aethelnunders have not used all of their ammo up. Actually, using fire ammo to try to take out some of these trolls, burning one of them, but it's not going to be a huge difference. Yeah, a lot of most of those arrows are missing. Actually, you can see oh yeah, Temple Guard now firing their AP arrows straight into the lightly armored Athelian Rangers. Oh, that's not going to be good for those Gondor archers. And over here, you can see that Celtic has committed more of his units here, like the Gondor Archers and Fountain Guard, as well as his completely healthy unit of Sons of Argonath is here, somewhere around here. Yeah, there they are, as well as his Lossernok Nobles. So these guys will be able to put some nice pressure on the Mordor units here. But again, the 2 units of Temple Inquisitors backed up by all the rest of these units are going to be very hard to dislodge. Yeah, there are still 9 trolls remaining. Peregrine Marines coming around again. And Citadel Bodyguard doing what they do best, which is surviving, just holding back the enemies. See, actually, the Axemen of Lossernok are doing a decent job of pushing through the kind of thinning numbers of Mordor here. But again, these Uruk Bodyguard just doing a really nice job of holding back these forces. Unfortunately, some of them are, well, most of them are turned around the wrong way. But they still will be able to hold. Ooh, you can actually see the Axemen of Lossernok, who are actually shaken, so they could break here. But they are trying to get straight into here against the Troll Catapult crew. But there are some Númenórean shield guard not far behind, going to give support to these trolls. Also, the trolls are, of course, would easily be able to just run away, but they may be trying to just tie up these axemen for long enough for these shield guard to get there in time. Yeah, now that the shield guard are here, the axemen of Lothernok are going to struggle quite heavily, and the trolls will be free to run away. They only took one loss there from fighting the axemen. But then again, they may actually end up staying here, because I don't know how much ammo they actually have used at this point. And right here, Gondor is starting to break through. The really good Uruk Bodyguard are finally starting to drop, now down to 74. But definitely they definitely paid for themselves. They did a very good job this battle. But there are some Uruks, just standard Uruks, coming over here to kind of give some more support to that line there. And over here, Temple Inquisitors, not in the fight quite yet, but if they do choose to fight against the Fountain Guard and Archers and just everything else here, they're going to be able to do so good. And there goes Alison's general. I believe his general was in his unit of Uruk Bodyguard, which is back there, that was holding for so long, and it has finally fallen. Yeah, Uruk's coming over here now. Yeah, it looks like the catapult must be out of ammo now, because it's just kind of like running around. Ooh, 106 of the Axemen of Lothernok actually routing there. So these Shield Guard and what's left of the Uruk Bodyguard, as well as the Uruks, will be able to kind of hold on to this area for maybe even quite a bit longer, depending on how, depending on what kind of units Gondor sends up here. I really do think that Celtic needs to push forward these guys. Well, then again, no, I wouldn't. It's just a very hard. It's just a very tough situation because he could, of course, push these units forward in shield wall and just push through these guys here. But he always has to be careful of that catapult, because you saw what happened to Sof and Andre earlier when they tried to push through when the catapult was still able to fire, and they just got absolutely destroyed. So I'm sure he does not want that to happen again. But again, you do have to risk certain things, so he may end up having to do that anyway. Another one of the Gondor armies down to half. I would assume that'd be Celtic, because both Sof and Andre are pretty much all dead by this point. So I would assume that'd be Celtics now at half. Yes, the Axemen of Lothernok were able to return to the fight. They have gathered their courage. They realized that maybe even having to face death in the Black Lands would possibly be worth it if they were able to rid these forces from Middle-earth. Rid these forces of Middle-earth. I'm sorry. Temple Inquisitors still holding on strong against the Fountain Guard. Fountain Guard starting to drop pretty quickly, just proving how strong the Temple Inquisitors really are. Lothernok nobles are there as well, and not far behind them are the Sons of Argonath, as well as some Ithilien Rangers who are out of ammo, and some Gondor Archers who are there as well to provide a little bit of support. So again, really getting to be a pretty close battle. Within 12% as it is. Oh no, 8%, sorry. So yeah, like I said earlier when it was very heavily in favor of the attackers, just slowly the defenders have been able to do a very good job of bringing it back, the percentage closer. Shield Fountain Guard now and Citadel Bodyguard are now going to risk it, now going to decide that it is time to try to just push through for the lands of Gondor, just to push through these remaining mortar units and try to not get taken out by this troll catapult. But actually, wait, they're fighting someone. There's one, yes, there's one veteran. This one brave veteran just getting beat on all sides, getting actually killed. He was getting beat to death by 8 trolls on all sides. Was able to slow this catapult down just enough for, for Gondor to be able to push through these mortar lines. So that may actually have been the turning point. That one brave veteran of Osgiliath giving his life to save his allies from the catapult, which is starting to fire. But you can see that the Shield Fountain Guard were able to break through, and they're going straight for that catapult. They do not want to get fired at from that catapult anymore. They do not want to suffer the same fate of their allies before them. Man, we should give a round of applause for that one veteran, man. Somehow sneaking through the enemy lines and able to silence this troll catapult for just long enough for these Gondor forces to push through. You can see one good hit there, but it's not going to be enough to stop these shielded Fountain Guard from pushing straight through into this troll catapult, and that will probably end up being it for the troll catapult. You can see some Temple Guard here, must be out of ammo now. Gonna go try to stop the shielded Fountain Guard, but it's going to be too late for that. Shield Guard, Mount Numenor and Shield Guard here as well. And then over here, Gondor is slowly starting to cut their way through these Temple Inquisitors. Looks like Lengo might actually be, yeah, looks like he's probably going to retreat and go through these gates and maybe back up there by that castle up there to maybe have like kind of a last stand. Yeah, that does look like what he's doing. He's going to retreat his Troll Catapult crew as well as his Temple Guard. So yeah, dang, that was a real ballsy move right there. That was good job of putting. that was a good move. I think it was well worth the risk. And now, dang, that one veteran of Osgiliath, man, putting his balls on the table there, taking on 8 trolls single-handed. And sure, he did die, but man, he did what he was supposed to. He did what he was supposed to. So the Shielded Fountain Guard reforming here. Don't want to get attacked quite yet before they get information. But it looks like they don't have to worry about that because Lengo is actually going to retreat with the last of his forces. Shield Guard are here, but I think his Temple Guard just kept on retreating all the way back here somewhere. No, not on the map. Not quite yet. I don't know where's... Yeah, here they're coming through now. The Temple Guard and the Temple Inquisitors. So still some very nice units. And in the choke point, it's still going to be very, very close. Also, there's still Alison's 55 Temple Inquisitors here, doing a very excellent job at taking down these Gondorian forces right here. Fountain Guard looks like they're kind of facing the wrong way, but I'm assuming that's just because there must be like one... Temple Inquisitors back there or something, I don't know, in the building or something weird like that. Over here, Celtic just kind of reforming his lines. Hopefully he will. Yeah, it looks like he's going to push forward and try to attack these Alison's remaining Temple Inquisitors from behind to give some support to his allies. Well, actually, it's not his... Well, it's his own units, but still, going to give some support to himself right there. And over here, the rest of his stuff is just going to, well, along with his allies, few remaining units are going to try to cut down the last of these Numenor Shield Guard. So again, that was a very, very bloody battle here. You can see some Urks actually kind of flanking around, but they're going to get stopped by these 22 Sons of Argonath. Ooh, yeah, that was so close. That was very risky, but definitely worth it, I think. Yeah, you can see the last of Lengo's troops. Pretty much the some of the few remaining units that Mortar actually has left to defend this Grand Temple, retreating to a better choke point if they can maybe hold the Men of Gondor back for long enough to maybe be able to actually take them all out. Because I mean, the Temple Guard and definitely the Temple Inquisitors are by no means to be underestimated in melee, especially in a choke point where they can't really get surrounded. And being high tier units, it'd be very difficult for even things like the Shield Fountain Guard to just push through them, especially with the support of the Shield Guard, who are spearmen themselves and are very difficult to push through. Yeah, Temple Inquisitors now getting surrounded on all sides, are starting to go down. I really do enjoy the color scheme of these Fountain Guard. I really like the shield, I should say. Very nice unit. Very good. Quite expensive, but they are AP spears with multiple hit points, so they can do some nice damage. Might be the thumbnail actually. Those green shields look very nice for a thumbnail. Yeah, looks like actually there's some retreating forces maybe. Don't know what that's about, but still should be okay because there are enough forces here to take out these remaining Temple Inquisitors. I'll go ahead and speed this up because this video is getting pretty long anyway. I'll go ahead and just speed this the last stand of this unit of Temple Inquisitors. And then we'll go over there and see what's going on with Lengo's forces. So I'm just going to go ahead and speed this up now. These Temple Inquisitors definitely not going to give up. And Men of Gondor definitely not going to show any mercy by any means. They have lost more than enough blood in this assault. And it still may end in defeat. Ooh, yeah, see, 97 to 88. So, Gondor's starting to pull it back a little bit again, but still very close. I think this is the one remaining Temple of Wizard. Yeah, there's only one left. See if he's able to get a kill before he dies. Might get charged by the... Oh, I got charged by the Citadel Guard, but he just kind of ignored it. And there he goes. Okay, so now it's going to be kind of just another reforming type situation. They may kind of wait, maybe to get the exhaustion of the of their forces back up, but it looks like they're not going to. They're just going to rush straight in. I believe that was one of the Mortar players admitting defeat, obviously either Grimgor or Alisan. And over here we can see Lengo's final stand. He's got some Numenor and Shield Guard, Temple Inquisitors, Trolls, and back here he's got his generals, you know, the Temple Guard. There's also some archers up here as well, yeah. They must have like fired one volley or something. Yeah, you can see Gondor is pushing forward. They've lost so many men here, but looks like they might actually be able to claim the victory here. But if they are, it's going to not be without even more loss of life, because the remaining Mordor units are very deadly. Go ahead and wait here for the Gondor forces to arrive. The Thillian Rangers might be first into the fight. That's not going to be a good fight for them, but we'll see. And I think all of the javelins have been spent by now as well. Axeman of Lost Knox, Citadel Bodyguard. So Sif still does have some forces. Yep, here we go. Oh, I meant to pause, or meant to slow that down a bit for the actual charge, but yeah. So right away, this first, I don't think this first wave of Gondor forces is going to do much, especially against the Temple Guard paired with the Shield Guard. I think this first wave of Gondor forces is going to have a very tough time of it and probably lose their lives, but we'll just have to see. Definitely an extremely entertaining and close battle. I think this was a perfect scenario or battle to kind of send off .91 on my channel, at least anyway. Good way to kind of send it off in style. A very nice, very close battle. Not really historical, but definitely this is something you would expect to see in the land of Middle-earth going on. It's not like it would be like you know, like Gondor versus like Rohan in this same map or something weird like that. But no, even though those battles are still cool, this one is a lot more realistic. Ooh, Temple Guard. Just beating down that poor Axeman of Lothar. Oh boy. These bald, bearded men will never be able to return to their woodland homes. I don't know if they technically live in woods, or is it kind of like a prairie? I don't know. I might mention this slightly in the book, but But again, since this is just kind of a big grind until the end, I'll just go ahead and speed this up. Not to 6 times quite yet, but to 2 times at least. If there are any particular battles you would like to see on .95, go ahead and let me know, because I will be sure to do them if I can. I kind of want to do a classic Rohan versus Isengard battle. I think that would be kind of interesting to see. Also, of course, I'm planning to pretty much as soon as .95 comes out, I'm planning to continue doing our Dwarves vs. Elves series. It'll probably either be another field battle, or it'll be a siege of Rivendell or the Grey Havens, or some of the Dwarven places like that. Mine. I don't know if it's actually a siege. It might be kind of like technically a cityscape, but it'll still be very cool nevertheless. So yeah, definitely you guys should be getting excited for that. I know I am excited for that. It's a very fun series to actually take part in, and I think it's just kind of cool. It's a very interesting situation. Also, it's going to be very nice because there are just the whole new balance, the new units and factions will be very cool. We'll get to see Lindon and Khazad-dûm in the Dwarves vs. Elves series. No longer will the Dwarves just have to use the same faction. That'll be pretty interesting to see. It'll actually be very cool because the Dwarves of Khazad-dûm, well, the Dwarves of Erebor will be able to rely a little bit more on the Khazad-dûm infantry and range, while the Khazad-dûm Dwarves will be able to rely on Erebor's cavalry and stopping power with the crossbows. Also, Erebor doesn't have bad infantry either because they are, of course, dwarves, but the Khazad-dûm infantry is quite a lot better. More expensive, but still better. Also, Erebor has slightly lower morale, I think, than Khazad-dûm in terms of just standard infantry. But yeah, anyway, back to this battle. You can see that these, like I said, this first wave of the Gondor forces really starting to suffer quite grievously. Now starting to thin pretty heavily right here against these units. Shield Guard at 77. However, the Temple Guard have taken a number of casualties, now down to 35. However, the general is still alive. Looks like Celtic does not want to overcommit here quite yet, especially because there are the very healthy Temple Inquisitors here. Yeah, definitely a very nice battle, and very well balanced in terms of like army comps and stuff. Because I mean, obviously, the percentage. I mean, look at that. Earlier, pretty much throughout the whole battle, Gondor is winning like by a lot the whole time. As of right now, the Mortar players have brought it back within 6%. So, very close. There have been many lives lost on both sides here, as this battle is slowly coming to its close. There's actually still some Sons of Argonath in there, it looks like. Citadel Bodyguard. Flaunted Rangers. And then back here. I mean, it definitely... Celtic does not have a lot left anymore. I mean, he's still got his sons and nobles and some shield front guard and stuff like that, but he does not have a lot of numbers left, but he does have the quality, I think, that will probably be able to win him the day. Temple Guard now down to 31, Shield Guard down to 62. 24 Arc Archers, there's still 59 Temple Inquisitors, and Trolls are at 7. But man, that Troll Catapult, I wanted to see how many the kills on that Troll Catapult. Oh, those have got to be insane, man. Those are probably so high. I think I'll go ahead and put it to 6 times now, just because there's really not much else I can say, or much camera work I can do at the moment. I feel like I've kind of pretty much said everything I have to as it is. Very well played by both sides. I think there were some mistakes on either side, but then again, that is just how all battles are. And it's always what makes these battles very cool, I must say, and very interesting as well. 23 Temple Guard, about 22. And yeah, this first wave was actually able to do better than I thought, but they are starting to fall. Only 8 Citadel Bodyguard left and 6 Sons of Argonath. Looks like she's trying to pull them out now. Just have some units left alive at the end of the battle. Definitely something that I find understandable. And yes, now you can see that pretty much all of these first ones have been taken out. Looks like she actually recommitted her bodyguard. With the Sons of Argonath too. Yep, Sons of Argonath as well. So that's probably going to be pretty much it for this first wave of Gondor. The Citadel, or Numenor and Shield Guard took a lot of losses down to 42. Temple Guard now down to 11. Somehow the general is still alive. Actually, you can see him. Ooh, just took out a Pelargir Marine. See this 1v1 with the Sons of Argonath, with one Son of Argonath versus one Temple Guard, who are actually shaken, surprisingly. That's actually very surprising to me, especially because the general is actually still alive in Mordor. I suppose just having to fight for so long against so many units, especially because I think some of these units may be fear-inspiring. Some of Gondor's units, I should say. I feel like the Temple Guard would probably end up winning this, just because Son of Argonath is quite bloodied up. Oh, actually, Temple Guard is not bloodied up, but he's actually retreating, so we're not going to be able to see the outcome of that. Okay, now Celtic is going in for the final push, so I'll go ahead and put it up to 6 times again. With all of his bodyguard, shielded found guard, lost your knock nobles. There goes the general, taken out by a Thilian ranger. That man definitely would. That man definitely proved his worth to Faramir. Depending on what age this is, anyway, Faramir might not even be alive. Up here looks like where the final stand will be with the Temple Inquisitors and the trolls. Going to be first engaged by the... Oh! Talon Ranger's actually wavering. Yeah, wavering may actually end up running away. Yeah, they broke. Yeah, I wonder if the man that killed the general is still alive. So still has 8 bodyguard. But then down here, yeah, Celtic is just going to begin pushing forward his units. Even more dead right there. And, oh, see, within 5% now. Mortar brought it back all the way within 5%. This battle was just so insanely close. Very well balanced scenario indeed. If you guys did not already, I did mention it, but just in case you missed it, this scenario was created by Lengo, who did send it to me, and he is the Mortar player who's right here. I'm setting up his final stand. And yes, while the Temple Inquisitors are of course very good, being just attacked on all sides by so many different enemies, they're going to fall. Only 1 troll left remaining of that catapult crew. But again, because they're not actually technically completely surrounded, these Temple Inquisitors will be able to get a good amount of kills, especially against spearmen who aren't the best at fighting infantry anyways. There are some Sons of Argonath in there though, as well as some Lost Nobles. That troll still fighting till the end. Yeah, so definitely a very close battle. Very enjoyable to watch and commentate over. You can see the frames definitely getting close now to the end of the battle. Still 43 remaining, but oh, I mean, look, the Found Guard have taken a lot of losses from those Temple Inquisitors. I mean, this is all that is left of Gondor. So they marched out here with an absolutely glorious, spectacular army, but we'll be marching back with only a few men remaining. 32 Temple Inquisitors, now within 4%. So yeah, a very close battle. Yep, 24 Temple Inquisitors remaining. Yeah, this was most definitely, I think, a very nice battle to kind of be like the last one of .91 on my channel. 12 remaining Inquisitors, and I think he just went ahead and admitted defeat to no longer prolong the inevitable. You can see that those Shielded Found Guard down to 19. I think they had like 50 at least. They at least had 50 before having to attack up here. The other one down to 48. So incredibly close and very well played by all sides. And yeah, looks like that's going to be it. Gondor is going to begin their long march home. So that is going to be the end. Unfortunately, we do not get to see the kills. But if I were to bet on it, I would definitely say that Lengo had the most kills for him. For his team, because he had the most elite army, and maybe not fought the longest, but he definitely did fight a lot. And maybe Celtic or Soph would have the most kills for Gondor. Soph fought the whole game, but Celtic did have the most men at the end, just so he was able to, you know, kind of like fight all the remaining units that Mortar had left over. So yeah, definitely a very cool battle. Big thank you again to Lengo for sending it to me. And a big thank you to all the players involved who did an excellent job. So that will go ahead and be the end of this video, and as well it will be the end of .91 Reforged videos for my channel. We will start again with .95. So I'm going to be very excited to be bringing you guys .95 content. I've only had like 2 uploads of .95 test patch, but once it's fully released very soon, I'm definitely going to be uploading a lot of the .95. So again, thank you guys all for watching. If you guys did enjoy it, please comment, like, and subscribe. If you did not, just go ahead and tell me what I did wrong. I'll be sure to fix it for the next video. So farewell wherever you fare, till your eyes receive you at your journey's end.